Welcome to the Business Legends Podcast, where we interview business leaders and entrepreneurs so that you can learn from their successes, become inspired, and meet the people that make change happen. I'm the host of the show, Reese Arlen, along with my co-host, Christian Webb. Say hello, salutations to the folks.
Hey.
And today, I'm trying to mock our podcast guest, the very first person that challenged me to do a better intro. Amazing human being, runs the top 5 podcast, The BAM Show. That's what we're going to call it. Yep. And serial entrepreneur, Jayson Waller. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. So it's like Jay and Silent Bob?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got
Just Jay. He's like...
Nailed it. He's like, yeah,
I'm here. Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly right.
The energy was really good there.
Thank
you. I think
it's
when
better?
you do a fucking intro, you want people to be like, holy shit, let me slow down. What's going on?
I think
it's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, some people can get intimidated by that, but you don't strike me as the type of guy that could get intimidated by it.
Those aren't your people, though.
Those are not my people. I love it. Okay, so first question out of the gate, how does it feel to drive the coolest car of anybody we've had on the show thus far?
Well, I mean, I'm blessed and I love the car. It's a Urus, in case anybody doesn't know, and it is the BAM Urus, right?
BAM
It's got the BAM podcast on there. It's going to be called the BAM Show.
Yeah.
And the Battlefield Attitude Mastermind, which is my coaching program. So
all BAM, always.
All BAM. Oh, we got the tattoo and everything for BAM.
So you're sold. You're into it now.
And the tag at Instagram is Jayson Waller BAM. But I love it. I mean, I've had a bunch of different cars. I'm still a big fan of the Porsche Taycan Turbo. Electric is my favorite.
Oh yeah.
This car is cool. Some people I just stopped at the gas station to get gas on the way here, and this guy's like, dude, I love your car. What do you do? And I'm telling him, he's like, holy shit. He's like, I'm glad you're telling me and you're talking to me. And most people are stuck up when they got nice shit. And I'm like, not me. I want to share, the success and do it. And he's like, and I love that you're advertising on there. And I'm like, look, a lot of people are like, dude, look at that fucking asshole with his name on his car. Mm-hmm. Yes. Look at the asshole with the name on his car. Then give me a follow.
Yeah.
Then subscribe.
Yeah.
And then let's do some coaching.
Yeah.
Right? I'm that guy. I don't want to be the guy just drives by I'm like, here's who the fuck I am. Find me.
Right.
And let's go.
Yeah.
But I like driving the car. I'm not believe it or not, my wife is the car person, not me.
Really?
She's had way cooler cars than me over time. Oh, yeah.
Like what?
She's had a Rolls Royce Phantom. Man. She's had a Ferrari. We had an Aventador back in the day.
Nice.
We've gone through some cars over time. I'm not the car dude, though. I like nice cars. You know, when you come from a trailer park and your first car's $300 and the top of the insulation's falling down and it's 5 colors and you're looking to go to Econo for a $200 paint job and you're excited and you got hubcaps.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you want a nice car, you're going to keep it and you're going to drive the fuck out of it.
Right.
Problem is, I drive that as my everyday car. People are like, that's not normal. It's normal for me.
Yeah.
Because I want to enjoy every fucking mile I can.
Love it.
On anything that I worked hard for to get.
Yeah. So tell us about the BAM Show. So it is an amazing podcast. I've listened to several episodes myself, but tell our listeners about it. I mean, you're such a natural fit for being on a show.
I appreciate that. I started my first podcast was the True Underdog podcast that I started during COVID. And it was just me and a couple football players that thought it would be funny. Matt Prater is one of my best friends. We started fucking off. I had Barry Sanders on there. And I was like, holy shit, this took off.
Right.
People, we got great content. So the show evolved. It became a top 5 show. It was great. But the show was owned by my previous company, so I had to start a new show.
Right.
And so in November of last year, I started the BAM podcast because everything with me is like BAM, let's go.
Big and
it
bold.
used to be building a movement. That's what it stood for me. Building a movement, one customer, one panel, one employee at a time, or body and mind. There's just so many things BAM stood for me. So I said, we'll do the BAM podcast. And the podcast manager at the time was like, you should do business and money. It's what you talk about. And look, I'm all for that. That's what I teach. It's what I coach. But as we've evolved, here we are 7-8 months into it, and this show became a top 5 show, not once but twice on the Billboard charts, and we did it in half the time the True Underdog did. I'm super excited and blessed, and thankful to all the listeners out there that follow the BAM podcast. So thank you. But I want to evolve to the BAM Show, kind of like the Pat McAfee thing, where if I want to talk about cheese crackers and oranges, I can talk about fucking cheese crackers and oranges.
Yeah.
If I want to cut up with my boy Big Joe, who's been on my show a few times, and we want to talk sports and argue, I want to do that. So I don't want it just defined. We'll have a lot of business and money stuff on there, but I want to open up and expand because my coaching is more the business Jayson, the entrepreneur Jayson, but I want to share more of the be real with people, my real struggles, my real problems. I'm a funny motherfucker. People don't know that. They're like, he looks angry and he's got resting bitch face, right? No, I'm funny, but people don't get that, right? And so I want to cut up, have a good time, and feel good about it. I don't want it to feel like a job. And not that my show feels like a job, but sometimes it's like, fuck, like I do this in coaching, I do this in mentoring, and and I interview, like, you could only interview so many cool motherfuckers about business and money, and then it runs out, and you're like, now who do I mean, that guy's got a pencil up his ass, and that guy, like you just don't want to deal with certain people, and I want to expand it a little more. So we're going to evolve the next 60 or 90 days to the BAM show.
I love it. So do you feel like, and I know you mentioned the Pat McAfee show, he has a huge following, but if you, I'll say broaden the scope, because business and money, you know what that show's about, you know what I'm saying? But if you broaden the scope a little bit and start talking about cheese crackers and messing, whatever, do you feel like you might lose listenership or lose a little bit of direction with that?
Look, I'm okay with that.
Or you think the entertainment value is going to be?
Well, I think I'm going to mix it up enough that it'll be okay. But if it's not, it is what it is. I mean, we're going to have, they can pick the episodes they want that will, be really entrepreneurship and business mindset and doing things to better their lives, or be an entrepreneur, or to scale a business, or to be a sales leader, to be a professional leader, or what to do in life, right? When it comes to that aspect. I don't think we're going to lose some of that, but we're going to add some flair and fun, reality, real life. It's not going to be a fucking goof off blooper show where we lose a shit ton, but I think there's a happy middle. If I lose people, well, then unfortunately I lose them. I hate that, but I'm okay with that. Like I want everyone to listen that they can, but that's not how I make a living, right? I want to do what makes me happy and share some of that. And so I think sometimes I'm handcuffed to stay between the buoys of business and money, and it's like, hold on, like there are other aspects that affect your business. Like, if you're eating cheese crackers at night, motherfucker, you can't make money tomorrow. Ask George.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
George, my trainer, will tell you, no, dude.
We talk about this.
You got to take all the money. You can't go to the gym and do half-ass reps and think you're getting all the money, or do the reps and then go home and eat like shit. You're leaving money on the table. That's what my dude George says, and he's right. And it's the same way. So tying it in, I think. As the show evolves, and I'm not one to plan. Like, people are like, dude, we're going to prepare. Like, I don't use show notes. I just fucking wing it. So, like, it might be like, pop. Next Thursday, it's the BAM show. We just start rolling. I don't need preparation, because the show isn't my livelihood. It's therapy for me, and it allows me to connect with people. So it's a great relationship builder, but it allows me to share real life business and money, and now outside of that experience. So I think it'll be entertaining. I think it'll be good. And look, Joe Rogan does well, Pat McAfee does well, but they don't talk business. So mine's going to be like something like that with a lot of business involved.
Yeah. So tell us what it took to basically get to where you are. I mean, you had your other podcast, and then you lost that for other reasons, and then you start the new one. Like what lessons did you learn from that one and take it into it? What did you do in order to expand your listening and get to top 5 ultimately?
Well, I'm
not trying to get trade secrets over here either, by the way.
Right. So I think
be really detailed in this part.
Yeah, be really detailed.
Detailed. Yeah. So I think the podcast manager / director is very important on how they are putting content out.
Looking at you, Hutch, just saying.
And I've been through a few of them lately.
Yeah.
I had one team that was really great content and did a great job, but I felt like they were ripping me off. That was the team that helped do the True Underdog.
Yeah.
We were doing ads, and I think there were just some things on there that I didn't like. And so when I started with the BAM podcast, I went with a different team that was really good, but they were green. And so there were things they were lacking. I'm like, I'd really like the LinkedIn, and because I don't want to have to pay 8 people to do 8 things. I want one team. Look, you get all the shit. I give you the shit. I'll be the talent, whatever you need. You put all the shit out there. And so that team was really good. And the girl that owns it's a great human being. But it was green. And so I went with another team. And this guy's pretty good. And he's got some big podcasts. He's got Tyreek Hill's podcast. He's got Clinton Sparks' podcast. And Clinton's becoming a partner over there. But look, there's still hurdles and problems sometimes. And I am a perfectionist. I want fucking perfect, right? And, it's AGB, always getting better for me every single day, 1% every day to be better. So, of course, I'm holding them accountable for stuff. But it is hard. You got to find the right team that has the right outlook, that understands what you want to do. I'm real big in they got to be proactive. I just want to go out and do stuff and come up with ideas and then throw it out there. I don't want to be doing the day-to-day stuff. I post a lot. People are like, dude, how much, you got a whole team that does it? Actually, my team probably posts a third of what I post.
Wow.
It used to post everything.
Yeah.
But now with today's technology and AI, and I teach and coach a lot of this, and using different apps tied to AI like captions and things like that, I can do a quick video. I did one on the way here, said some shit, stick it into captions while I'm driving, get done, ask ChatGPT to give me something great for a post. Bam, I'm done. I'm in 5 minutes for it. I got a great post. I didn't have to wait for a team to do it. And I'm fucking ADD. Let's go. So,
Constant.
and it's all about, you got to be consistent with content. You can't just, okay, I'm going to put a lot of shit out today and then I'm going to wait a week.
Right.
You can't do that.
Gotta keep going.
Unless you're investing tens of thousands of dollars in some sick ass videos, jumping out of a plane, doing crazy shit.
Which would be sick, by the way.
Which would be awesome. Then you could do it once or twice a week because then people will want it.
Right.
But if you're just putting out daily messages, you've got to be constant, and you've got to understand it's like watching paint dry. It doesn't happen overnight. You're not looking for the viral video. You're looking, hey, I had, 201,000 today. Look, I had 201,002 tomorrow. Look, it just grows gradually, and the power of multiplication and division with everybody getting it, sharing it, just takes off, and it's a science, and you just got to continue to do it. And I want to be more real when I share shit. Not that I haven't been.
Authentic.
Yes, I just want to be recently I had this fucking epiphany where I'm like, look, I was in Utah. And I'm not calling anybody out. And I love everybody. I'm not going to call names out, because if I do, they'll want to fight. If we fight, somebody's going to get their ass kicked, and I'm always betting on me. Okay, so I always bet on me. Right? I'm down for a good fight, and I tell people that too. So just let me know. But keeping it real, I got to see two guys that I admire and I like a lot. They're good fellas, and I saw their group coaching programs. And I got new into coaching recently, and I love the one-on-one.
Now, how'd you get into that? Because given your career's history and stuff, was coaching a natural transition, or what happened with that?
Well, building a company, the latest company, not the latest company, I've got a new company that's doing pretty good and growing fast, but the company before that, where we built up, and it was Power Home Solar / Pink Energy, we peaked at around 2,400 employees.
Wow.
And when people think of that, and it was just like 4 of us that started it, right?
Wow.
I had 5 other executives that worked with me.
Wait, you said 2,400 employees?
2,400
at
employees.
At a $1 billion?
$1 billion valuation. 2021 we did about $600 million in revenue, and in 2022 we're on pace to do $750 million in revenue.
And those margins are amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about the margins being amazing. Whether you're doing $5 million in your 4 or 5% EBITDA, or you're doing $600 million in your 4 or 5% EBITDA, margins stay the same, but the dollars are bigger. But you reinvest it. You're feeding a monster, right? You're growing a business, and I have a theory that I used to live by. I've changed it a little bit now.
Okay. All right.
But it used to be, if you're an entrepreneur, the first thing you do, and this is facts, because most people are like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I love that you got that great watch. I love that you got that great car. I'm going to open my own business because I want to have a great car and great watch. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're an asshole. That's not how this works.
Right.
You got to be like, dude, I have an idea. I have a service or a product or something that's going to be impactful in this life. I see these people have a problem. I'm going to serve. Let me say that again. I'm going to serve them, and then I'm going to get paid for serving them. And I'm not doing it to get rich. I'm doing it because I want my own time. I want to be my own boss. I want to create my own life. Now, yes, you need money to have a lot of that, but you don't chase the money, because when you do, you make decisions that affect your business. So I've been pretty damn disciplined, because the first business I ever opened, I had another job. And then the second business I opened, I sold the first company where I didn't have to collect a paycheck for a while. And the third business I opened, I sold that company where I didn't have to collect a paycheck for a while. And when you're strong to make decisions like that, not on emotion or fear, you can fucking really grow something. So I tell people, when you do it, there's 3 things you do. The first dollar you make that's profitable, you always make sure your people are paid first. Your vendors are paid second. The business is paid third. People are like, well, what about me? Well, motherfucker, you don't get paid, right? You get paid at the end of the rainbow when you go to sell.
Yeah.
Because people are like, too many times I'll meet an entrepreneur. It's like, yeah, my company does $1 million a year and I make like $500,000 a year. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, if you're doing $1 million a year, you should probably be making $50,000 a year. Max.
That's a hard choice to make right there.
It is, but then why are you going to business for yourself? You're never going to grow. So here's what you got. They're in a fucking rat race, just paying themselves too much money. And it's like, look, you've got to learn to fucking eat peanut butter and jelly or crackers.
Yeah, cheese crackers.
and fucking, ramen soup.
You know the name of this show, by the way, is going to be Cheese Crackers. You know that ahead of time, right?
I don't even, I don't even know how the fuck I came up with cheese. I ate Cheez-Its last night.
George, and you
George,
cheated,
fucking George. So, it is very hard to do. And look, and but now I'm going to say this. So I did that, but I even did that on a large scale, where in my business, when it was valued at $60 million in 2018, and we were able to raise 15 million capital and sold equity and brought it into the business. So we sold 25% of the company. I was getting paid the same salary, right? The same pay in 2018 that I did in 2022 when we closed, and we grew 20 times the size. We went from 60 million to almost 1.1 billion.
Wow.
I could have easily 20 times my salary. I didn't. I kept it in there. Now, I still believe that that's good, but fuck. Like, I should have taken care of myself and the other executives and ownership during that time and pulled more off the table. So what I've learned through this experience, a lot of things I've learned, what we've done good, what we've done bad, how you get better. But this part was like, look, you hit a certain point in the business where you got to start paying yourself more.
Yep.
I should have done that because I left hundreds of millions of dollars on the table over the years.
Yeah.
So,
And
where,
this
so
business,
where do you see that? Like, where's that dividing line?
Yeah. Where do you take?
if I had to rewind, I think the dividing time is when, your company is making, north of 5 or 10 million EBITDA. I think you should start paying yourself more because it's a healthy company. We never really had debt, and then we got debt in 18 a little bit, and we got debt in 19. You're paying it off because you have to have debt to grow. These are things I've learned in business. Like, in order to raise capital, you got to have debt. You have to show, hey, we can borrow money against the business, pay it back. And as you grow into this, we were profitable in 2021 around $65 million.
Wow.
I mean, then I own almost 40% of the company. It'd been nice to take, 15, 20 million home. I didn't. I had my same salary at 1.2. It's what I made.
Yeah.
I left a lot of money on the table. And that's, look, it's like, it is what it is. And I'm a big guy of faith, right? God has a plan. This isn't my plan. This is his plan. I'm just here executing the plan and making the best decision I can. Part of that is, look, I can't sit here for 90 days, dude. I wanted to go fucking catch Generex building on fire, right? I was like, these motherfuckers, right? But I didn't. I wanted to, and if I ever see Aaron Yagfield, I'd love to cold-cock that son of a bitch. But I won't. But I'd love to. I could say it like that. That's legal.
Yeah.
I'd love to,
but I won't. Yeah.
But I won't.
Allegedly.
Unless he fucking swings.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He won't. You hear Elon Musk and those guys. That's a mega fight. Can we have like a small card where I whip Aaron's ass in a fight?
Yeah.
A
I
game
don't
on.
think- I don't
And
think
whoever
they're gonna
wins,
fight.
wins the lawsuit. How about that? Because
that'd
I
be
got
awesome.
this.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to actually fight, by the way. I think it's
I
gonna
think
be
they
like-
will.
I think they're going to do AI
Dana,
fighting. I think it's gonna
no,
pop
hell
up.
I
no.
think
Dana
Elon-
White confirmed.
I think Elon is going to whip his ass.
I think so too.
Really? You think
Oh
so?
yeah.
And everyone knows that
smart,
everyone that knows
Yeah.
Zuckerberg's been doing all the jiu-jitsu, but people don't know that. I just found out Elon's been doing shit too.
Yeah.
And he's fucking 6'2".
Yeah, he's six.
He's
yeah,
way
he's
bigger,
He's
way
6'2",
bigger.
like 240, and Mark Zuckerberg's like 5'9", like 140. Like, what do you think's gonna happen in this
that's
fight?
true,
like,
man.
That's
That's
not even a
true.
fair fight. That's not even a fair fight.
I'm definitely going to go watch it if I can. If I can even afford a seat.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's
$100,000 a
gonna.
seat.
So I went to the Mayweather McGregor fight.
Oh, I bet
That was the
awesome.
first and only fight I've been to. It's
We
We
pretty
were
had-
in Vegas for that one.
We didn't get tickets, but we had a bet on that, and he was convinced that McGregor's
Oh,
was going to win.
I bought in. I went and bought it. I
To
bet
McGregor?
him, but yeah, I'm a fucking idiot.
thought he was gonna
You
win,
dumb
man.
shit. You dumb shit.
We bought into the media bullshit.
You bought
Yeah, we did.
in. That's the power of marketing,
the-
though. But you dumb
You,
shit.
you
both
bought
of
it.
you.
You bought into the to the hype, man. It's
Yeah.
just sad. Like,
it wasn't
he's gonna get
close.
it, and that's where fucking Mayweather's
Wasn't even
a
close.
genius.
Wasn't even close.
Because he bet on himself, didn't he?
Of course he did.
No, here's why he's a genius. He used to be Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking watched his fights.
Yeah.
When he became a villain and he
Yeah.
goes, holy fuck,
Money
I
Mayweather.
can fucking be a villain and everybody will pay to watch me lose.
Yeah.
I'll make so much money. So
Yeah.
he does that and then he uplifts his opponent. You ever seen the movie Great White Hype?
Yep.
It's that. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, I'm going to sit here and eat off and fuck off. And he's smart marketing like that. He's like, we'll
Yeah.
give everyone hope that this motherfucker's going
He
to
was
win.
probably marketing towards McGregor.
He was.
He was
No chance he
on
wasn't.
purpose, so
MMA's
people wouldn't
biggest
think it's
star?
because who would buy the fight
sure.
if they knew Mayweather would beat his ass?
Right,
Mayweather ain't
yeah.
gonna get paid, but if Mayweather seems like it could be close,
I
and then he
just-
goes in and beats his ass, he wins.
I
But
distinctly remember.
watching it. I actually liked McGregor's spirit in the fight way better. Like, he was hitting more, he was swinging more. I
Yeah.
feel like Mayweather played the defensive game really hard.
He didn't give a
He
shit.
always,
That's
it wasn't
why.
he always
great, yeah.
does. He always does.
I wish
But,
they would have went all at it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
The only two people I think that could have beat Mayweather, and look, I used to not be a Mayweather fan, but now I am. Now I'm like, you know what, the guy's a beat.
You lost some money on him. You're like, I'll be your fan. now.
Well,
Pacquiao,
my
I
son
think.
talked me into it. Like, he's like, Daddy is really great, and then I got over the way he's built. It's a fake character. I heard
Yeah.
a Jamie Foxx interview on on not Howard
It don't matter.
Stern.
Jamie Foxx. Yeah.
It was Joe Rogan's, and he interviewed Jamie Foxx. And Jamie Foxx came out and was like, "You guys remember Pretty Boy Floyd? Like, he was my friend. That's how he was. And he built this character. He wanted to be a villain." When you put that into perspective, you go, "Holy fuck, I ain't mad at the guy. He's a fucking genius, right? Like,
Genius.
I love it." So I had all the respect for him, and I get it. But then I go back and I've seen some of his fights, and my son's real big into boxing, right? And so we watch a lot of the fights. And do I think Pacquiao could have beat him in his heyday? I think I could, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
He hit hard enough back in his heyday, probably.
Yeah.
I think Sugar Shane Mosley,
Yeah.
a little bit earlier in his career,
Yeah.
probably.
Right.
De La Hoya, a little bit earlier in his career, maybe. So Mayweather, to me, is the best defense boxer we'll ever see in our lives.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no
Really
The,
good
the
at that.
deal with Mayweather is he just does the famous shoulder thing and you never hit him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
I find that extremely
He doesn't knock people out. He doesn't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
He plays for points.
But if he gets hit hard, you've seen him go down and get up. I think the only way any of those people I mentioned could have beat them is if they connected hard.
Yeah, big
in
hit,
their
big
prime.
haymaker. Yeah.
But I don't know if they could have.
Okay, here's what I got to say about that though. So they're lightweights. I mean, they box at what 142 or something like that, plus or minus.
Medium,
And-
middleweights.
Yeah, but I mean, they're light. I mean, those haymakers not going to hurt like a Mike Tyson haymaker would. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they have the power to pack a punch that big to beat Mayweather. I would say.
I would agree. I mean, Canelo had some power, but he couldn't
Yeah.
do anything.
I don't know. 115 about broke your ribs, man.
My son did about break my fucking ribs, dude. And yeah, like
Oh, I can't believe you said that.
here I am. I'm bragging about
hilarious.
fighting, and then I got my
Yeah.
13-year-old fucking putting
5'3".
a whooping
I
on
mean,
me.
you were taking it easy on him, of
Yeah.
course, but
Yeah.
I was until I was just fucking with him, and he pop. I was like, "Ugh." Like, all right, end of the round. He's like, "Are you done?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done." He walks away. I tell my wife, I'm like, "Fucking ribs hurt. Oh my god." I couldn't tell him that.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't see this show.
No, 'cause
That
I'll
would
have to
be-
take a fucking bat outside, beat
Yeah.
the shit out of him if he comes after me. I don't want to be that guy, but dude, I ain't gonna have my son be like, "Yo, you want some, Dad?" I'd be like, "Fuck you!" Like,
Oh, that's horrifying because he's gonna grow.
dude, my dad is 20 years older than me, and he's I'm 43, he's 64. I'll be 44 soon, and he still gives me a look, and I'm like, "Fuck."
Yeah. You
So
got the right.
So I have a question for you about.
Jesus.
You said you had to take on debt to build a business, and I'm starting to grow. This is starting to grow on me. But let's say, what do you say to those people who are trying to naturally grow a business to like 10 or 15 million without doing that?
So I didn't. Okay, so let me rewind a little bit. So our first year we did 3 million, we lost $1 million.
Wow.
Okay.
Our second year we did 10 million, lost $1 million.
Wow.
I didn't get paid till month 19, right?
Wow.
Right. So wasn't paying myself month 19, making a little money. Okay. Third year, we did 40 million, and we were profitable. Fourth year, we did 105 million, and we're profitable. Fifth year, we did 185 million, we're profitable. Sixth year, we did 385 million, we're profitable. Seventh year, we did 596 million, we're profitable. And eighth year, we were forecasting for 750 million, we're profitable. We didn't get really profitable until we opened a second location. People don't realize this in business. Your SG&A, right? Your biggest cost, the owners, the executives, the building, everything is in your first location. When you open a second location, you're able to minimize that fixed cost. And now your profit margins go up. You open a third, you're able to minimize that more. You're not going to get new leadership, new executives, new corporate office. It's all one. At least that's how I scale. All my businesses have been kind of like the Dish Network, DirecTV. You have one corporate office and little satellite offices. So when you open one, you don't need the whole kit and caboodle when you open a new location. That's always worked for me. But those first 2 years, I was only in one spot. In 17, we opened up Michigan and we opened up Virginia. And all of a sudden, we started crushing it because we were able to expand. And a lot of our overhead, the cost per deal went down on that because the SG&A went down because we had other volume coming in. So we didn't get debt till after we raised capital.
Okay.
Okay, we raised capital, we sold the deal, and then they forced us to create debt. And then after we created debt, we did another debt. We did what we call a recap, where if you're not taking distributions as an owner and your company is profitable, a bank will come in and say, "Hey, we'll give you a line of credit of debt on those distributions that you've put equity back into the business you left in there," which is what we did. We were buying cars, locations, doing all these things. It's all going back into the business. That's how you grow the growth I just told you, 10 to 40 to 105 to 185. It doesn't happen because you're just killing it. It happens because you're taking your profits and you're reinvesting it into the company to grow. You're planting all those seeds for everything to grow. So when you do that, you get to a point point, eventually you're going to need debt in case you have a bad week, bad month. You got to prove, companies want to see. Some people companies just want to be debt. They want to make interest. Like, you got all these things going on that I learned over time. Like, holy shit, they're making us get debt. We have to have debt. We have to be able to manage a debt facility and see what that's like. So we did that multiple times. And then when somebody came in to do a recap, we actually we did a recap in 2019, and then in 2020 we were going to do a recap too. And like a recap is just a redistribution of the distributions. Like, all right, we're going to say here's $30 million. You guys gave $50 million to the company. We're going to take 30, give it out. You guys can spread amongst the owners based on your percentages, and you got a line of credit on. That's a recap. That's what companies do that don't pull out the distributions that rebuild the business, right? That throw it in there. In 2020, we're looking to do the same thing. And that's when we were approached by Generac, who came in and did the whole dog and pony show. Like, I didn't even, and this is a fact, I didn't know who the hell Generac was when they were messaging us on LinkedIn and calling all our executives and directors. They were offering a battery product. We were looking at batteries. We were talking to LG a little bit, doing the onesie twosies, and we were selling solar edge equipment. We weren't even really in the battery space at the time in early 2020. And this is right before COVID. And I'm like, who the fuck is Generac? Mm-hmm. Right? And they want to get on a call, and our team and our development team and our research and development team, they're like, hey, they've got this great product. They've got their great brand. I'm like, all right, well, we'll get on a call. So we get on a call with them. Right before we do, I Google Generac, and I go, holy shit. This is like at the time, $6 billion public company that do generators. This big, pretty good partnership. Let's talk to them. So we talk to them, and they do the whole, hey, we'll help you advertise on TV. We're already on TV a little bit. We'll do this. We want to be your partner. We could be the partner for solar and, batteries. And their CEO and me got along. I was like, you know what, this could work. I've never thought about co-branding with somebody. Let's do it. So we did it. And when we did it, COVID hit. And it was like, oh, snap. And it was like a perfect storm because, when Flu C came out, the COVID, Flu C, came out, and people were watching TV all the time. We were advertising a lot, and there was a lot of eyeballs, and people were like, dude, I don't want to pay for power all the time to the utility company. I'd rather utilize the sun and, have a fixed payment. Let me get solar with a battery. This makes sense. So we really crushed it in 2020. And, we're selling their product. And, we continue to grow. We do that. And while we're doing that, that's when Piper Jeffrey, who's a broker, when you go to raise capital or you go to sell a company, you got to have a broker. I mean, unless you just, do these onesie, twosie M&A deals. But so we had a broker, and we're like, hey, we're crushing. Should we do another recap? And they're like, well, hold on. Your company at the time, this was 2020, it's worth like $400 million. We're like, what? They're like, yeah, let's take Trivest. Trivest was our minority partner who came in 2018. We can get them bought out, sell 40% of the company. You guys can leave some money on the thing, pay off the debt, leave some money in the business. It would be fantastic. Maybe take some chips off the table. So during the COVID time, we were like, yeah, let's do that. Well, then COVID kind of even got worse. So they were like, pause. So 2021 in January, we started to go back to the rodeo again, trying to see who was interested in buying 40 or 45% of the company, taking our existing partners out. Not that they're bad partners, but let them capitalize on what they invested and close that fund and bring somebody else in with more firepower, more money, more debt facility to grow. Because we had this vision to do microgrids, be part of EV. We were having conversations with GM at the time, like all of this, like next level stuff, right? And, that we go through a dog and pony show, and I had to learn fast, and it's my favorite part of the business. They would create a deck page, and we would have Goldman Sachs get on a call, and I would have to go through the deck page and do the introductions of our team and talk about every aspect of our business, and I fucking loved it. And dude, I crushed it. Like, I was complimented not only by Goldman Sachs, the Blackstone people, Ares people. They said, dude, I've never seen anyone as passionate as you are to sell a business. Like, wow, like you're built for this. And so I got addicted to doing this, and we did 200 of them.
Wow.
200 dog and pony shows trying to say, hey, are you interested? Some of them were the same. Like we did Ares 4 times. We did Goldman Sachs 3 times, Blackstone twice. But over that time from 2021, the beginning of 2021, into the first quarter of 2022, we were doing that. We had a deal in principle we were going to sign in the middle of 2021 for about $600 million, because we're also growing. So we're updating the deck. It's called a deck. You go over a deck to go over this. We're updating the deck weekly. Here's what we did last week, keeping you informed. You got in it like this is, we're crushing it. When you go through that and you're talking to these investors, private and public, we had Sunrun look at us. We had Tesla look at us. I mean, dude, all of them looked at us. When you do that, what happens is the offers start coming in, and we had 50 4 LOIs.
Wow.
Letter of intents, all over the board, 250 million up to 600 million private. Then all of a sudden, this company called Pivotal 3, it's a SPAC, offers $1.05 billion. We're
Wow.
like, what? So middle of September, like July 2021, we're like, $1.05 billion, hold on. Public company? Now, think in mind, we've already been doing audited financials and reviewed for like, we're already
would
ready.
have had to anyways,
Anytime you raise capital of this magnitude, like listen, there's like, they open the hood, like they've got to do diligence. You got a data room full of like everything, right? And so due diligence is always going on. So we are always like above board, dotting our I's, crossing our T's, dotting our I's, crossing our T's. Like everything is just like a system. And, you know, we're growing like just continuing to grow. Like we're like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. Opening new cities, doing the thing. We've got a system in place. It's systematic. It's working. And, you know, we go, okay, do we want this private deal or do we want to be public? So we talked about it. And we're like, this is great. We could go public. We could give like 100 million shares to the employees. Right? We even had a sheet made out for all the employees, their tenure, their position, what they were going to get. We're like, this is fantastic. So we go kumbaya and we sign the letter of intent with the Pivotal 3 in July 2021 to do to be public, because when they're a SPAC, right, it takes a little. So if you go public on your own, it takes like 16 months to go through the SEC and do everything.
Right.
If you go through a SPAC, it takes like 8 or 9 months. And if there's a company already public, it takes 3 or 4 months. Those are the timelines that we learned in this, right? So in the middle of 2021, when we did this deal, we were supposed to close sometime in February, okay? As we get towards the end of the year, SPACs are taking a bath. Like they're getting beat on like, dude, people are like, SPACs this, SPACs that's trash. Me and the MGG, which is the owner of the SPAC Pivotal 3, he's the CEO of MGG, have a conversation in like October or November 2021. And I said, dude, I don't think we want to do a SPAC, man. We're going to go back and look at private. This doesn't look right. Like, I think we'll take a bath. We go public like it's bad. He's like, all right, he understands. So we start talking to some of the companies again. We get an offer from Ares. We're looking at it. He comes back to pitch us in January 2022, says, I've got a great idea. Rather than us do this whole SPAC, I've got a company that already de-SPAC'd a year ago. The company was called XL Fleet, okay? They took gas vehicles and they made them hybrids. You know, they couldn't do electric. They made them hybrids.
Interesting.
And they were worth $1 billion at one time, but now they were worth $350 million. That's what they had on the balance sheet. You know, that's cash that they had, operating cash they had, but their business sucked. Like they weren't fucking producing. It was a horrible business. And he told me, he's like, look, what do you think of this? And I said, look, I'm going to be honest. That's trash.
Yeah.
But they have $350 million and they're publicly traded. So what would you like to do? And he goes, well, maybe we can do a reverse merger. You guys take this on. Well, in the meantime, we were already changing our name because we were going public.
Right.
People think, oh, you changed your name to run. It's like, no. In October 2021, before we even knew about the Generac scandal, before we knew about any of this stuff out, we said, hey, look, we're going to be a public company. We need to change it. We can't be limited to power, home, and solar. And so we came up with Pink Energy, and the process was already started. We were going to change it on Earth Day because we were supposed to go public, you know, shortly thereafter. Yeah. So when we looked at doing that, we were talking to him. He's like, look, you're going to be Pink Energy is going to be isn't solar. This is car. You can do microgrids. You can do car. You can do all this stuff. I said, all right, we'll make it an arm of it. We negotiated. We signed a deal for $1.05 billion with them in March of 2022.
Wow.
And then the Generac scandal thing happened.
Oh,
And we were supposed to close in July.
Yeah.
Right. And even during that process, as things got really hairy and we're trying to figure out this Generac shit and all this heat and bad stuff's on the brain, it's like tough. It's like, what's going on? And we're asking Generac, we're trying to like, why are these customer systems not working? What you should have done a national recall. What's going on? And we're going through all of these. During that whole time, it kind of like, okay, we probably can't do this reverse merger right now. We got to figure this out. But then other companies were still interested. Ares was, and other companies like, we're interested. So we were trying to do those deals. But then we were in survival mode. As we got into late summer 2022, it was like, that was the first time we've ever had to lay people off. It was like, how can we stay open?
Yeah.
How can we stay open? And that's the biggest thing when you're running a business, right? You have to make decisions for the whole group. You don't make decisions for yourself. You don't make decisions for one person. You make decisions for the brand. The brand has its own life, has its own oxygen, has its own heartbeat, has its own personality, its own everything. Everything is about the brand, right? The brand has got to be able to stand on its own. It's got to be able to offer a great product, to be a great customer servant out here to the public. It's got to be able to do great things. It's got to be able to house and add employees. It's all about the brand, and then we're all part of that. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs get twisted. And so for the first time ever, I mean, look, I run a tight ship, meaning like I had an 80-20 rule. Like if your job was to clean bathrooms and we had 10 people cleaning bathrooms, we were writing up the bottom 2 if they weren't hitting the numbers. 80-20 rule. I'm a big believer of replace your body 20% every few months because they're not hitting the numbers. I'm a believer. That's how I built all my companies. It doesn't matter what you do. Customer service, sales, installs, doesn't matter. Like we set the KPIs. This is what you're supposed to do. And I believe everybody's number is their number. It's like golf. Your score is your score. You can't bullshit. Well, I hit a rough. Well, everybody's got to hit the rough or get the sand. Like we don't want to hear it. I'm a big believer of that because I believe your top 20% do 80% of the work. Your next 60% do 20% of the work. Your bottom 20% complain, bitch, feed. They become cancerous. It's just fucking toxic, right? I'm a believer in that. Now, is it exactly 80-20? No. Sometimes you might fire 30%. Sometimes you might fire 10%. But I'm a big believer of putting them on a plane. You don't want to be on a plane 2 months. You let go because we want to wake you up. You can't be doing the same work and get paid, doing less work and get paid the same person's busting his ass. I'm not a believer of that.
Do you think that the people that you've had to let go over the years in that
resentful?
situation? Well, resentful, sure. But do you think that in a lot of cases you end up doing them a favor? Because they end up basically getting off their ass and
so the problem with my company is people that worked there, it was like a cult, right? It wasn't on purpose, but because when we hire you, we say, listen, we have an 80-20 rule. You've got to be in the top 80% of your department or you go on a PIP plan.
Right.
And if you're on a PIP plan twice in a row, we let you go. We let people know up front. Why? Well, because I want the best of the best. I don't want the people sitting while everyone's rowing. I want motherfuckers rowing. I don't care what you do in our department. It could be IT. You're fucking rowing.
Right.
Okay? We want you all in because this is a team. Everyone's a cog on a wheel, on a truck, on a road, driving the fucking thing. That's what the deal is. And so when they have that, and we do sales meetings, and we do installer meetings, and we do, we do town halls with our team, and we get them excited, and we do a lot of events. We do a lot of local community philanthropy. We do all these things that are like, the culture is so fucking amazing, right? That it's like, yes, we're like this great big family. But the problem is when you're in that 20% you leave, it's like a bad breakup. Not for us. We don't despise you, but you despise us because you're not in that family anymore.
Right.
So it creates a lot of resentment from those people. So doing them a favor, maybe, but then they're not in that anymore. And it's like, you don't know how many people I've known that had great relationship with, and then their numbers didn't hit, or they left for some odd reason, and then they're not in the circle anymore, and they fucking hate you. They're vomit of the mouth, run in the mouth. It's like, it wasn't, what are you talking about? They're just so toxic because they're so bothered because it's like a bad breakup. Like the best thing that ever happened to them, they're not a part of it anymore.
Right.
And so that part is like, people say, would you want to do it different? I'm like, I don't know, because what you get with that is you get the toxicity of people leaving that are angry, right? Fucking like for no reason. But you also get the people that are there that work so fucking hard. And those are the ones that you're building around. Those are the ones that you appreciate. So if you just have a normal company that just do 9 to 5, you get normal results. So I don't know what the best answer is. I know that, I feel like maybe sometimes it was a favor for people. And listen, one of the guys, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Juju. One of the people that worked for us as a regional manager who left in early 2022. There was a couple of regionals that were moonlighting. We have a rule, you're not allowed to moonlight. Moonlighting, for those that don't know, means if you're managing a team, you can't be running a side business and promoting your side business because what the fuck are you managing?
Right.
We had a couple of regionals that were, excited. I had a podcast, and they're part of a company culture where it's all about pro-entrepreneurship and bettering yourself in life. And they wanted to build their own business. Well, I probably wouldn't complain or care about that. But when your numbers aren't there and you're advertising your business over the business that you're helping run and you got a team, that's a fucking problem.
Yeah, gotta go.
And so we went down an alley where those two were supposed to be fired, and they weren't fired. This chief sales officer elected upon himself to, hey, I'm going to keep you guys and get rid of this other person, against what I asked, right? And when he did that, that other person and those two talked, and all three quit. And that other person wrote me a long email like, hey, I don't like this guy. Your chief sales officer talks out of both sides of his mouth. And I own it. Like I told all of them email. I said, look, I wanted you fired, and here's why. Like
Damn.
I don't hide from fucking anything. But I didn't want the other guy fired to quit.
Yeah.
But that guy. But I have a relationship with all three of those guys. But I'm like, look, it's just business. Like I appreciate you guys. I know you want to do your own thing, but you've got 100 people that work for you. Like they can't look at you as a fucking leader, and you're out here trying to rent cars on Turo. Like, dude, like really, like fucking come on, grow up. Right? If you want to do that, have your wife fucking do it. What are you doing?
Right.
But they don't do it. So the other guy that quit, that shouldn't have quit, because this guy, our chief sales officer, had a good relationship with the first two guys and didn't like the other guy. The other guy had his numbers and wasn't doing that. He shouldn't have done that. And what he did is he created this toxicity where three quit.
Right.
I'm a big believer. I'd rather fire fucking somebody 1,000 times than have one person quit.
Wow.
Because when they quit, they tell their own fucking bullshit story. Right. I quit, and here's why. Like, fuck off.
Right.
Like, no. Like, no. I fired you because you didn't do your fucking job. Go tell the story you want. Not you quit, and it's like, oh, like, I don't like, but that's my personality, and that's worked for me. So when they all three walked out, they kind of had their own thing. It spooks people. It's like, what the fuck? 3 regionals left? It's like, dude, see the fucking drama you created, Ben? Ben was our chief sales officer. What did you do? Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you tell him, well, the CEO wants you fired, but I'm going to keep your job, and we're going to fire that guy? Like, who the fuck? Like, first of all, you think they're going to stay at the company where the CEO wants them fired? They could have called me, and I said, yeah, I want you fired. Like, you're not doing your job. Your numbers suck, and you're promoting your other business. What are you doing here?
Right.
That's wrong to all these other people that work for you. Of course. It's about the brand, right? It's about the company. So back to I've given Juju some love. So Juju on Father's Day texts me and was like, hey.
Now, who's Juju in this story? Sorry,
So Juju is one of the regional managers that I didn't want fired.
Understood.
That the chief sales officer didn't like, right? But the chief sales officer went to the two that I wanted fired and said, hey, I'm going to keep your guys' job. Jayson wants you fired, but I don't. I'm going to fire him. Blah, blah, blah.
And
took
him
it upon
is
himself.
Juju.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all three of those guys are friends.
Right.
So then they tell Juju, and Juju's like, what the fuck? So they all quit.
Right.
So they all send me an email. And I told the other two, yeah, I did want you fired, and here's why, dude. Like, I could have done it myself, but that's his job. You know, it's no harm, no foul. I get it. You want to build your business, but, dude, you can't do it on our dime, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
To Juju, I'm like, dude, I hate that you left. Like, I never asked Ben to do that. I hate that happened, man. I wish you the best, da-da-da-da-da. He's like, F Ben. You know, people get angry.
Of course.
So Juju, out of the blue, texts me on Father's Day. It's like, hey, not only are you a great father to your kids, but dude, you've been a great father to all these big people out here opening their own businesses. They've learned so much from you, and you've inspired them to, and that felt really good because I can't count on both hands and feet how many people work for me that open their own company that are crushing it, right? So it makes me feel good. Like people are like, are you mad if someone leaves and open their business? Hell no. I've always told people, if you want to leave and better yourself, you have a better opportunity, you should go. I'm not mad. Like that's not quitting, by the way.
Yeah.
That's resigning in a good form. I'm all for that. That's the best option. Like you found something that works for you better. High five, better your family. Let's keep the door open. But somebody that just maliciously fucking quits, I can't stand. I'd rather fire.
Yeah.
Right?
Door closed.
Right. I'd rather just fire them.
Yeah.
Because then they have their own little bullshit. So I just feel like with.
You ever hire anybody back, by the way?
I have. Handful of people. Yeah. Yeah.
What were your reasons for that, just out of curiosity?
I'm a big believer people get second chance or make mistakes.
Sure.
Right? It just depends on how toxic it was when they left. If they've grown out of it or, misunderstanding, whatever it is, 6-8 months later, it's like, look, I don't hold a grudge.
Right.
And I don't ever want bad for people, it's not my goal or intent. I want everyone to live a happy life. And that's why I tell people, if you've got a better opportunity, don't feel guilty of not taking it. Be open with us and take it. And the door's still open because I don't want you to miss an opportunity that might be better for you. This might not be it. On the other token, I have a rule. Like you can leave, you can go open your own business. I'm not going to chase you down. But if you lie, cheat, or steal, meaning you lie to us about it, you cheat by cheating the system, or you steal some of our shit and our employees and our customers, we're at war, right? We're at war. And that's what I don't like. But there's so many people, good people, that have opened their own business. We didn't have that. There's a handful that would try to take our reps, try to steal our customers. And I'm like, all right, let's sue the shit out of them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Jeez. Well, Jayson.
But when you're that big, it May said it, more money, more problems. Like, more problems.
More money, more problems.
More problems. It's just like, holy shit. And you become a giant firefighter.
Yeah.
Right. And the best part of running all these people, I told you I had like 5 or 6 executives. We had 33 directors.
Wow.
And the executives would be on a call 3 days a week for like 2 hours each. And then there was a director's call once a week. There was a pre-director's call and then a director's call. And the director's call, the executives would get on, and that would be like a 5-hour call once a week. So we knew all the, what was going on.
You knew the intricacies.
Yeah, what's going on? How's this doing? What can we do better here? How do we get better here? That's what those calls were about. right? But I'm also a big believer, you know, of scorecards. You know, if I don't run a school, sometimes I wish I did, but I don't know if people would like it. But if I ran a school,
be an
everybody
interesting
would
school.
see their grades every day. And if Jimmy didn't like his fucking score, Jimmy'd have to go home and have mom and dad help him fucking get a better score.
Yeah.
And not come in here and fucking make excuses.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm a
everybody
big,
else is doing it,
I'm
you
a
know?
big believer in competition. I don't want to fucking, I'm not the participation trophy guy. I'm not the guy that's like, okay, now I don't want to belittle and hurt anyone's feelings. It's never my goal. But my point is, Jimmy will never fucking strive to be better if he's not called out in front of his peers.
Yeah.
Not in
Yeah.
a bad way. Not like, oh, Jimmy, you're a low life. Nope, nope. I hate that. I'm talking about here's your guys' scores. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
How can we help those at the bottom get better? But they have to have that mentality in life.
Right.
Because the problem I have in this state specifically, right? We moved back to this state from we were here. We went to Michigan, came back. Is everybody thinks average is okay. Everyone borders themselves into this is okay. I don't want to be extraordinary. I'm okay with being ordinary. And I don't like that for my kids. I want them to be happy and fulfilled. But, dude, I've been around people like in other places when I lived in Michigan some and I've lived in Florida some where I like to be in the middle of the food chain, meaning I've got people that are worth billions. I've got people that are worth nothing. And I'm kind of in there. I got people chasing me I can bring up for the ride. I got people I'm chasing. They can bring me up for the ride. That's what it's about. I feel like here it's very judgmental. I say this all the time. I'm not shooting at North Carolina. I feel like it's very judgmental. And it's like, it's okay to be average. And I feel like we shortchange ourselves in this fucking state specifically because a lot of it is some good old boy network and some race car money, and that's it. Like, there's not a lot of here. And I think people struggle with, it's okay if I'm average. I'm spending time with my kids. No, the fuck it's not. Be above average. Still spend time with your fucking kids. Show your kids. Because I'm a big believer that if mom stays home, and my wife was a stay-at-home mom, and I love her to death, you know, she raised my kids, and she's great. But if she was a stay-at-home mom and she didn't pursue her dreams, to me, that's still child abuse because you're telling your kids it's okay to not pursue your fucking dreams.
Yeah.
But that's what she wanted to do. If I was somebody who just fucking, and I'm not knocking the blue collar and the everyday log, like, I get it. My dad's blue collar. Like most people, you line up 100 people, 75, 80% of them are just okay being okay. And we need that, and I'm okay with that. But if you have fire in your belly, and you want to be fucking extraordinary, and you're too scared to take the leap, or you're too scared to take the chance, or you're too scared to bet on yourself, or you're too scared to be judged by your peers, or as you think they're fucking haters, right? And you're going through this and you're doing that, then you are shortchanging yourself, and most important, you're shortchanging your children. You're telling them it's okay to not chase what the fuck you want. And that's my problem with this state. It's so fucking judgmental with people that I talk to people and like, I want to do that, but you want to do that, but what? You're not going to get a fucking, when
Get it
you're
done.
lying in your fucking deathbed
What do
and
you wanna
you're
look back on?
playing your life over, are you going to go, oh, well, I just did that because I didn't want to fail. And like, you're going to, I don't ever want to be in that position. I'm scared to be in that position and have regret. So like, I try a lot of shit, doesn't work, I pivot. I try other shit, doesn't work, I pivot. But at least I fucking try. And I tell people all the time, you got to try. And that's what, like the coaching, what you asked me, what got into coaching. We've done a lot of circles here, but Dan Locke is
Damn good circles there, my friend.
Yeah. Dan Locke is a great friend of mine. He's a leader, and I've had some good mentors. You know, I've had David Meltzer, and Dan Locke is a good mentor for me. Eric Thomas is a mentor for me on speaking.
nice.
People don't know that. I talk to him all the time about
That's
speaking,
awesome.
and so yeah. So Ed Milet has been somewhat of a mentor for me on some stuff. But the ultimate mentor to me, and shout out to Dan Locke, is Dan Locke, and he runs a mega coaching and course business. Like he did $100 million last year, just courses and coaching, right? And he's the one that reached out to me after this Generac shit happened. And I had some other companies I'm it's tough. I'm gonna rebuild, right? This is a mountain, and now I'm down. I'm just gonna climb back a bigger mountain. And so I'm rebuilding new businesses. That's what I do great. We're talking about my eyes closed, I can do it. But I need something else to do. I want to be impactful in this world. I want to help other people. And so he reached out to me, and he's like, Jay, I saw what happened with Generac. This is sad. Like, what are you going to do? And I told him, I said, I got these other couple companies I'm going to do, but it's not full time for me. Like, I'm putting these other people that deserve to be leaders and run these things in spot. It's their time. I'm just going to support them and give them the fuel to do it. And he's like, dude, you should be coach and mentor. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, you are a specialist at home service industry, building a brand, AI, lead gen, sales. Like, you're that guy. All these other posers out here, they wear the same shit. They say the same shit. They beat on their chest. Hoorah, let's go, mindset, blah. He said, and they're ripping off everybody, do the same shit. He said, you can add real value. None of them have built one company that was successful, let alone 5, went up to $1 billion and lost it. Like, you can walk people through each step of their journey. And I'm like, you think? He's like, hell yeah. So he starts giving me tips, and I start to flirt with it a little bit. He invites me to speak at his event going in September in Vancouver. And he's going through and he's like, look, you could be this guy. Like, you should do it. And he told me to stay away from the group things. Mm-hmm. And then, talking to other coaches are like, nah, you got to have the group thing. I don't think the group thing is, it's wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, people are ripping people off, and I saw it firsthand in the group coaching. They're not teaching people business lessons. They're giving them fucking life lessons. You can get that for free on YouTube. Put in motivational, inspirational videos.
It's like,
watch it. You can watch my podcast. You can watch Ed's podcast, Eric Thomas. You can fucking listen to these people and get that. But to pay some Yahoo asshole whose only business is coaching you.
Yeah.
Is fucking is ridiculous. Like, why would you? I'm going to spend this or that, or what's their fucking criteria? Because they got followers.
Yeah.
Because they drive nice shit. Like, what is their real business? Did they have an exit? Did they make money? How many employees did they manage? Were they able to raise capital? Do they know AI? Do they know lead gen? Do they know how to fucking scale a company? Do they know how to deal with HR problems or hiring a bunch of employees? What do they know? Well, and I watched, and the same shit I heard on a podcast. I heard people telling the thing, and I'm like, the fuck are they paying for? So I came back and I'm like, okay, I was starting this community thing, and Dan was right. This is fucking useless. They're not, you get 50, 100, 200,000 members. Like, you're not fucking individualizing and saying, hey, I'm going to help you out. Give me stuff. A coach, a mentor should specialize in what you want to learn. Mm-hmm. They should have the experience. They should have not only the great, but the bad to be able to teach you, to be able to navigate through your journey to make it faster. I believe that there is no elevator in life. I fucking still believe that. But damn it, you can start skipping 3 or 4 steps if you have a mentor and a coach in something that you want to learn, in something you want to master. And so I'm like, dude, fuck that. Dan was right. So I shut down my group thing this week. Wow. And I put a couple posts out and I said, look, I'm only doing one-on-one coaching, and I can only do so many. I've got capacity for 1 or 2 more, but that's it. And yes, I'm pricey, but I'm worth every fucking penny, because I don't want someone to pay me and it didn't work. I'll give them their money back. I want someone to pay me and go, did you go from 100 grand to 300 grand? Fuck yeah. Did you go from 1 million to 3 million? Fuck yeah. Did you go from 5 million to 20 million? Hell yeah. Did you go from 20 million, 100 million? Great. Bring me in. Let's go fucking sell this thing. How do we do? Like, I want to do those things for people, because I've started it from my master bedroom, from a tile board, from a shower and bathroom, and walking around manila folders on all of my companies, all the way to fucking 600 million in sales in a year and 2,400 employees. Like, I have done it. Sat in the room with all the big swinging dicks, dude, from Aries and Blackstone and all of them, right? I'm brutally honest. I'm telling you, like, I've done it all. I'm like a fucking sponge, and I want to share that information. And so Dan's right when he's like, dude, this is what you got to do. And it's fulfilling. I've got a couple one-on-one clients that are fucking changing their lives. I'm watching their business take off. I'm watching one get ready to open a different business because his business is on the way to crash. He's like, what should I look for? How should I do that? And I'm fucking walking through the steps. I'm putting myself in their shoes. What would I do? And I'm trying to help them. And I love that. And so what I say to people out there is, if you're into entrepreneurship or you're into self-improvement, and you just want hoorah, save your fucking money, watch all the motivational videos, check my podcast or check these other podcasts out, and get inspired. Because a lot of these Yahoo imposter coaches, and I'm not going to call them by name, but if you line up 10 coaches, 9 of them or 8 of them are fucking imposters. Right. Go look and say, what is their business expertise? It's not. It's you, motherfucker. They're selling you. Yeah. You're their expertise, which is not the right move. And that's why they always have to add more people, because they can't fucking keep people. You know how many people were in my thing that were in some of the people's thing that I saw, or in big ones, and they're like, I was in this one and so, and they're big names. I don't want to call their fucking names out. They know who they are. I'm already getting message like, why are you saying shit? I'm like, well, do you feel guilty?
Yeah.
Am I talking to you? Like, right. You feel guilty because you're not giving your people anything.
Yeah.
I want to be able to look at financial records. I want to be able to look at fucking P&Ls. I want to be able to look at goals and KPIs and dig in and insert myself in a business and help them. And that's what people should look like if they're looking for mentoring, whether it be business, whether it be real estate, whether it be brand. Like, my specialty's business, but I'm working with a couple real estate agents, how to build a brand, how to get a call to action. I'm working you got to make sure people are experienced before you spend it, and you get what you pay for. Dan Locke's expensive as shit. He's like 10 grand to 50 grand a month.
Wow.
It's worth every fucking penny. He better like that's what. And so people are like, look, some people, and like my deal's negotiable based on where they're at in their business. Like if it's brand new, it's X. If it's a little grown and it's making money, it's Y. If it's bigger, it's Z. Why? Why do you have to pay more if it's the same? Because it's harder to move the needle from 100,000 to 300,000, which is easy, from 3 million to 5 million, which is a little harder, and from 50 million to 100 million is even harder. So I have to be able to add enough hours and impact and dive in deep enough. So the bigger the client, the more they pay because it's harder to move the bigger numbers.
Makes
That's how it
perfect
works.
sense. Makes perfect sense. Well, Jayson, man, I believe we're out of time. What a great show. No less than I would expect from the mighty Waller himself. We'll close out. We like to close out with like a funny question. God, I ain't got nothing. I feel like we could talk forever about all kind of different stuff,
man.
though. Here we go.
I don't have anything funny, but this is the quietest I've ever been on a podcast because you both are overwhelmingly.
Well, fucking ask some questions,
loud,
dude. They cut some of this shit out. Ask something.
I fucking loved it. You need yourself a Silent Bob, sir.
You need a Silent Bob. Who's your Silent Bob going to be? How about that?
Well, right now it'd be Joe.
Okay.
Big Joe, which wants to do a podcast with me bad, and he's really funny.
Bam Jr. Bam Jr.
He's the whitest Puerto Rican you'll ever meet. Okay. Perfect. And for anybody that's Puerto Rican, they understand what I'm saying. He's got the Puerto Rican tattoo, but he wears flip flops and fucking what is the whale? It's the Vineyard Vines. This motherfucker wears Vineyard Vines and flip flops and got a fucking Puerto Rican tattoo. And then he gets 23andMe. He's only like 12% Puerto Rican. I said, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That sounds like my tattoo. I've got American Indian tomahawk here, and I found out I'm zero.
Oh, no.
Indian after I got the tattattoo.
After the
so
tattoo.
Me and 23 fucked everybody up.
That gives you like 2% just from the tattoo. So
One would think my mom was wrong. She's like, you're like a quarter.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
That's what my mom said. Oh, we'll talk about that later. Anyway.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah. Well, Jayson, man, thank you so much for joining, and congrats. You're a certified business legend.
Thank you. Bam.